Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Kids World Home Edition. And this week is really special because guess what? It's my birthday. I am turning 27 years old. I know I'm such an old man. It is crazy how quickly this whole year has passed. And it doesn't help that we're in this quarantine, in this pandemic, because honestly, days are just mending together to where weeks seem just like just one big day. It is crazy how quickly time is passing. And I've been to work a couple of times recently, and it was really refreshing to get back kind of into a regular routine and to see people that I normally saw every day before this all happened. And it was awesome just to see them again, hang out with them, talk with them, and laugh with them, and most importantly, work with them. So it was really great. Um, Here in the next couple of weeks, we will see what goes on with church. If we'll go ahead and start meeting up again, or if we'll continue to do this recording. I don't really know what's going to happen here, but hopefully soon things will kind of start going back in place as normal. But we'll have to continue to put that in our prayers. And as we always know, Jesus is in control. Now, today's lesson is about Jesus. And what's really cool about this lesson is, first of all, he's going back home to Nazareth. Now, this is the first time that we see him going back home. So, this whole time, he's been out doing his ministry. And now, this is the first time in a long time that he's going to step foot into his hometown. Now, I don't know about you, but when I go out and travel, if I go out for the weekend or I have a long trip, like a 2 week trip or anything like that, either during the summer or whenever, that after a while I begin to miss my home. I begin to miss my place. I want to be back. And when I come back, I know that I'm going to be comfortable. I know that people are going to remember me. I know that my friends will want me to be back so that way they can hang out with me and all. But Jesus had a different experience. And I truly, truly believe that this happened so that Jesus could say that he totally understands how people feel. You see, in the story, we're going to learn that even though Jesus returned to his hometown, which should be somewhere where he feels comfortable, somewhere that's safe, somewhere that people would bring him in with open arms, we find out that they didn't really care. In fact, they were blinded by his physical growth and his physical life that they totally overlooked the spiritual side of things. And then we'll see that ultimately Jesus was rejected by his own hometown. That's like you going home to the house that you've lived in your whole life and the neighbors that you've had the whole time you've been there. And then all of a sudden, everybody from your neighborhood just doesn't care about you anymore. And then to the point to where they kick you out of your home. And they don't ever want to see you again. No one wants to have that feeling. But Jesus did. So that way, and I truly believe this, he can say to those who do experience this, I understand. The lesson and the story go like this. Jesus and his disciples have been out for a while now. He's been ministering and he's been teaching. And now, on his road, he's going back home in order to try to reach those people there. Because his ultimate job is to do what? Share the gospel. Prove that he is the Son of God. And reach those who are lost into his kingdom. So he's going home, and he reaches Nazareth on a special day. Our Sunday, their Sabbath day. So it's a holy day. So as he goes, he reaches this. And so the first place that he goes to, him and the disciples, are the synagogue. Now, they normally go there the first time they enter anywhere. That's the first place they normally go, is the synagogue. Now, this experience is really different because Jesus actually gets to talk. And as far as I've read, this is the first time that I've actually read that Jesus was on the platform teaching like the main group from the synagogue. Now, that's really, really cool. So he's teaching and sharing this lesson with the group. And once he's finished, he closes his notes, he closes everything, and sits down. Now, people start to murmur, they start to whisper. They're amazed at what Jesus just talked about. The way that he teaches with authority, yet he teaches in a way that they can understand. And I can only think about how Jesus is feeling on his human side. Man, this is great. I'm back home. I wonder if he feels comfortable or at ease. I wonder if he's excited to be there. I wonder how the disciples feel being with Jesus in his hometown. I wonder what the thoughts are going through their head when they see people talking. Maybe eyes are kind of glancing over at them while they talk. I wonder what the thoughts and feelings were in that room. And the cool thing is while they're talking and they're whispering and they're excited about what Jesus has just talked about, people start to recognize, is this Jesus? Joseph's son? There you go. That's the first red flag in this whole story. Is that they put him to Joseph. They put him to Joseph. So already they're placing him in a physical realm. They're boxing him in to the physical realm. Jesus starts to talk again, saying that why he's there. He's there because God sent him. And he goes through this lesson about Elijah and Elisha. And people begin to get mad. The issue is that they were blinded by seeing Jesus and boxing him in to the human realm. They remember little baby Jesus when he was growing up. They remember the toddler Jesus running through the streets with his friends. They remember the same little Jesus that would sit and help Joseph, his father, the carpenter, do projects. They remembered him growing up as a teenager, playing with his brothers, playing with his friends. I don't know. Maybe playing jokes on each other, just having a good time. I don't know what they did. And they put all of that, and they boxed him in that. And they said, he's Joseph's son. When the whole time Jesus is trying to explain that he is God's son. But they can't separate the two. They're so focused on the human realm and remembering where Jesus came from and who he was humanly that they didn't see the big picture. And because of his teachings and because of him telling people of who he was, people got mad. So mad, in fact, that they wanted to throw him off a cliff. They wanted to kill him. His own hometown rejected him. I can't even imagine that. I can't imagine living in a city like Houston for my whole life, my whole 27-year life now. Having friends and family here. And then one day, I wake up and they just change their mind over it because of the way that I believe or the way that I think. They just want to kick me out. Or worse, they want to kill me over it. My own people, my own city, my own neighborhood wants to throw me out. Can you imagine the hurt that Jesus felt? The sadness that probably overwhelmed him? The God side of Jesus knew this was going to happen. I can only imagine how the human side of Jesus felt. So while these people contemplated, and while these people were planning on killing Jesus, even there at the synagogue and in the streets, they were angry, they were upset. I can't imagine that maybe some people were trying to talk them out of it because of the teachings that Jesus gave. But most didn't want him there. So in the heat of it all, Jesus walked through the crowd and left, never to return back to Nazareth. It's so sad. How does this apply to us? It applies to us like this. We've got to be careful how we view things. What is our perspective? Is our perspective human? Sometimes we can't help that because we are human. We live in these broken, sinful bodies. But we do have the Comforter, the Holy Spirit living inside of us if you're saved today. And if you are a child of God and you have the Holy Spirit living in you, then we have another perspective. We have a spiritual perspective. We can look past the flesh. We can look past the materialistic view that the world has. We can look past the things of the world and see the spiritual side of things. That's what Jesus was trying to accomplish. But the thing is that the people were so stuck at seeing the human side of Jesus and not trying to look past it to see who he really was, that they lost that chance. So in our day-to-day life, are we so focused on this earthly realm? Are we so focused on the worldly view that we miss out on things that God is trying to show us because we're so distracted and blinded by the things of this world to the point to where we reject or maybe miss the things that God tries to help us with, people that pass us? So we've got to be careful. We've got to have that perspective change. And it's got to be a daily thing. It's not easy. Something we've got to pray about and teach ourselves to do. I love you guys. See you next week.